Welcome back, everybody. We're going to take a look around the fall garden and talk about some of the things that are going on and why we love the fall. Why do you like the fall, Jade?
I like the fall because of the beautiful weather and how everything's so beautiful and golden.
Yep, I love that too. Let's see what else we love about the fall garden. First, in this grow bag, I don't know if you can see these very tiny grass looking sprouts. Those are carrots. These are clovers, which we don't necessarily want. But these are carrots. I put some of the carrots in this grow bag because if you saw my garlic harvesting video, we have a little yard pet that may or may not try or attempt to get our carrots that are in the raised bed. So some of the things from summer are starting to get a little bit beat up, but we're still getting some green beans almost every day or every other day, and we're happy about that. Here in our Zone 8 garden, our herbs are starting to flourish once again, and this is some valerian. Over here we've got some um, lemon balm. Many of our medicinal herbs are starting to get new life. As you can see in the middle of some of these weeds, we've got hyssop that's starting to grow again. I think the standout beauty of the herb fall garden has to be this pineapple sage. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. And the little flowers are so sweet and delicious. The leaves are fragrant. We like just picking them and eating them. They're almost like little garden snacks, little candy, and they do have medicinal benefits. One day I'll show you guys my mood tea, is what I call it. But as you can see, a lot of our herbs are starting to get new life. And I think that's by design. I think our Heavenly Father knows that we're going to need some of these herbs come the fall and winter. And so, at least where we live, He makes them abundant and beautiful. In this bed, we've got some radish that have started to come up and many more carrots. I don't know if you can see through the netting, but we've got carrots that are coming up. So that is good. Some of our broccoli in our grow bags is pretty slow to come up. So we may have to go to the store and get some broccoli starts. I'm not sure yet. It is almost sweet potato time, but not quite, but it's getting close. You see some of the leaves starting to change, but we still do have some flowers because these are part of the morning glory family. So you get those beautiful morning flowers. But in just a few weeks' time, these will be ready to harvest. Oh, we do have some broccoli sprouts starting to come. So it's almost like the spring where you just get little sprouts popping up everywhere, and it's very exciting. Now, granted, I planted these seeds, so I do expect them, but it's still exciting, just like the springtime. And look, we just planted these garlic. These are the Persian star. These are the first ones that we planted, and they've come up already, so that is exciting. Some of our other garlic has starting to show itself, and I mean, we literally planted these a week ago, so that is always encouraging when you get something that pops up really early like that. Cauliflower is doing much better. All of these brassicas were started from seed, and I direct sowed them. I didn't start them indoors or in the greenhouse, so I'm kind of letting them fend for themselves. And as such, most of my broccoli is not doing as well. We do have a few here, so it's just a little slower than the cauliflower is this time, this go round. Um, and in fall gardens in the past, I've had the opposite. So you just never know what each fall or each garden season will bring. Our tea plants are gorgeous. I love these flowers that they make. They're so pretty. And the honeybees like them too. I still need to clean these two beds out. Unfortunately, some of the melons are getting a little confused by the warm days and cool nights, and so they're starting to put on fruit, but because the nights get cold, they pretty much don't make it very far. But what's still working are these passion flowers. So we harvest those as they pop up. These little cheerful zinnias, or these little baby zinnias, zinnitas, I think they were called, or something like that. They're basically mini zinnias. They are so cheerful. I don't think that I can keep them over winter, but my local nursery was carrying them this year, and I will definitely buy them again next year. So fun. All the lettuces, and in my area, cilantro is starting to rev up, and I have a new variety that I'm trying. I'm so excited to see how it tastes, but I'm giving it a little bit of time to get some size on it before I dive in. One thing that I love about the fall here in North Carolina Zone 8A is our roses start to get a pick-me-up, and this one is going to be beautiful. I have a preference towards peach flowers and coral flowers, and when this opens, it is going to be beautiful and fiery orange. So these Kalima beans are growing in this bag, and as you can see, they are starting to set flowers and a little bit of fruit. Those little beans right there, they should be ready in about a week, I would imagine, because things do start to grow a little bit slower. I'm not sure if you guys were with me or if I even posted it, but we had some volunteer um, potatoes in these bags, and I was grateful to Yahweh for providing that. And we harvested all of those potatoes, so I thought, but alas, we've got new gigantic potatoes plants. You see that purple one back there? There's another one there. There's one here. So I did not plan to plant potatoes and green beans together, but this is about the second or third time that this has happened. So apparently they like to grow well together. All of our citrus plants are doing well. We're going to leave them out for about another month or so before we bring them into the greenhouse. I have been dying to taste that Persian sweet lime, but it's not quite ready yet. And on some of the varieties, we're getting new blooms, just like the springtime. It's beautiful. This Meyer lemon tree at this point is majestic, but still no flowers, so I'm actually going to trim it back so that it fits in the greenhouse, and we'll see how it does with getting a little extra TLC away from the cold this winter. The citrus on this side is also doing well. I've got some kumquats that are setting fruit nicely. They're looking really nice. A lot more than last year, which is what you would expect. And despite what this looks like, all three of these plants are actually citrus. However, the Thai basil has taken over, and we've got some residents of the backyard that really don't take too kindly to me taking it all away. So I use what I want for cooking. And honestly, they've bullied me. They've bullied me into letting them have the Thai basil, and I'll just have to try to give the citrus plants, which are in here, they're in there. I have to give them a little bit more TLC in the greenhouse in the winter time because the bees have spoken. Now here in the main garden, is where all of the excitement, or most of the excitement for me, is happening. Let me take you around and take a look. So despite the fact that I have had to re-sow this poor spinach 3 times, because every time I sowed it, it was too early. There it is right there. This is a weed or rabbit food. But the spinach is finally coming up. If we take a look over at our cabbage bed, it looks great. Obviously, all of these weren't sown at the same time. These were all direct sown, but this one was one of few that didn't get eaten down by our little bunny. I think he took a nibble or two off of this one and decided that because he's a wild bunny that he preferred clovers and dandelions and wild things like that, which I'm grateful for. Still don't trust him completely, but you know, there's that. But overall, look at all of these cabbage seedlings. It makes me so happy. Those are some garlic sprouts that popped up from probably some garlic seeds that I forgot last year. But these are some of the new ones that we just planted last week. We still have peppers. We still have a good amount of peppers that are coming to fruition. And there is another of my lovely pineapple sage. I saw a video on propagating that, and I'm going to learn how to do that because this particular variety of pineapple sage is the lighter yellow one. That is my favorite, and I can only find it at one nursery in my area, and it costs almost $8 a plant, and I'm not with that. So I'm going to figure out how to propagate it. Now that darker green one with the same red flowers, it's beautiful, but it is nowhere near as tasty. And unfortunately, it reseeds like crazy. So it's all over the place. It's almost become a weed, almost like the what are those things called? The ground cherries, except much less tasty. So it smells good, but it's not as good. And unfortunately, I bought those seeds off of Etsy, and I regret even planting them, and I don't plant it anymore, but it just keeps coming back. So that's that. For me, it's almost time to harvest and make lemongrass rings. So I learned that little trick from Farm Garden or Pharma Garden. I will link her channel above. I learned that from her a few years ago, and I love that little trick. More cilantro has started to pop up, and finally our little collards are starting to show themselves. You see those little ones there that look like butterflies? Most of your brassicas look like that when they first pop up. So that is exciting. I've had to re-sow those twice. That's something that you deal with when you're in a warmer climate, or even if you're not in a warmer climate but you just direct sow a little too early because you're anxious for the fall garden, and you get those seedlings that come up, but then you get a hot day that blasts them and kills them. Like here, we had 1,000 head kale plant that came up fine, but the ones here didn't, so I re-sowed those, and I'll have to thin them out. I've sowed celery in here a couple of times. The seeds were pretty old, so the germination rate has gone down. That is a rogue onion from a seed, I don't remember when. So I do have some celery seeds coming in the mail, so I will plant those when I get them, or sow them when I get them. This is a volunteer amaranth. A red Russian kale is doing, or red Ursa kale, same plant, is doing well. I had to re-sow it again there, but that one is doing well. Our dino kale, I've re-sowed a few times. It's a little slower for some reason, and it's usually faster for me. Everything is a little bit opposite this fall, so maybe it's the El Nino. In this bed, I'll call this my Asian greens bed. I have some wasabi, toi choy, purple bok choy, chijimisai, standard bok choy, tatsoi, joy choy, and I think that's komatsuna. So we just sowed those seeds yesterday, so you won't see any of that for a little while, a few days, but some of the garlic is starting to come up right there. And like I said, we still have some peppers hanging around, a lot of sweet peppers here, and some hot peppers along that back wall. One of the stars for me for the fall garden are the borage plants. For some people, these do better in the spring. For me, they do better in the fall, and they are gorgeous and another component of my mood tea. So I'm thrilled at how big and lovely these plants are this year. We also sowed some flowers. We sowed some poppy seeds, and those are coming up. These are a beautiful, delicate colored poppy. I can't think of it right now. I thought I put a label in here, but I don't see the label. But at any rate, I know they're going to be gorgeous. And we've got some volunteer zinnias everywhere, so. Oh, I planted some Brussels sprouts in here, but I've had to re-sow those again too. We'll see what happens. Oregano is really, really big and beautiful for me this time of year. And some of our other volunteer herbs like this lemon basil is doing really well. And overall, I just am really in love with the fall garden. I can't tell you how beautiful it is to me, how much I love to be out in the crisp fall air with all of this new life and beauty, and it's just absolutely perfect. Yes, there's change and some things are, dying, but that's the circle of life, and in that there's beauty as well. So I hope you guys give a fall garden a chance if it's possible where you live, and that you see how beautiful it is and enjoy it as much as I do. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.